Our DM dilemma comes to us from Favor. Fran has a question.
She says, am I being a bad neighbor / friend? My next door neighbor and I have kids close in age, and over Christmas break, my neighbors watched my kids for 2 days that both I and my husband had to work. This weekend, my neighbor asked me to watch one of her sons because he was sick and the other son had an event. I said no because I don't need my house coming down with whatever he's got. If he wasn't sick, it wouldn't have been a problem, but she said I was being selfish because she helped me. Should I have babysat, or was I right to keep my family healthy?
No, I think you're 100% right. You don't need to be babysitting a sick kid. There's no reason to bring those germs into your house. Like, watch them another time. That's not an even trade. You know, you're doing way more of a favor for that neighbor than they did for you because your kids weren't sick whenever you sent them over to their house. This one is completely obvious to me, but I don't think that everybody would necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say because I'm not a parent. And also, like, this is exactly why I don't become friends with my neighbors. I don't even know any of my neighbors' names. I'm not doing favors for anybody because I don't want to have to do favors in return. And so but to play devil's advocate, if you are the person who it's like it takes a village and, you know, you use them as your village whenever you needed it, I could see them being like, well, you're in the village now. You got to help take care of my sick kid because my other son has this event that he can't miss.
Oh, gosh. I remember one time, I've never really, as an adult, been asked to watch anybody's kid other than my downstairs neighbors who I became best friends with in Ohio. Every once in a while, I'd watch his son just for a couple hours, but never whenever he was sick. I would have refused if he was sick because I don't want to get sick. But this reminds me of whenever I was in high school, I would sometimes babysit for neighborhood kids and everything. And this woman left me her 2 kids so she could go out on a date. I think it was a first date or something that she was going out on. And she leaves. Not 20 minutes later, the little girl yacked all over the place.
Ugh.
And then she said, yeah, this happened to me yesterday. And I immediately got furious at this woman because it's like, why would you leave me a sick, puking kid? I don't want this. And it continued. I ended up having to call my mom. I was like 14 or 15 years old. I had to call my mom. Yeah, I had to call my mom to come deal with the stomach flu kid. I couldn't even go upstairs. I couldn't even be in the same room with this kid. My mom was mad at me. I was mad at this woman. It was a bad situation.
Did you give your mom the money that you were going to make from that babysitting job?
Did my mom take the money from the babysitting job from me?
She earned the money. She did the work. She's the one who should have gotten paid, not you.
601-995-1017. Shunda said, a favor should be done without the obligation of getting something in return, so technically you owe her nothing. However, as a courtesy, most will do the same. Plus, a favor should not come as a potential loss to you. Yeah, the loss is getting you and your whole family sick because you're watching the neighbor's sick kid.
And if we know anything, like this time of year, especially kids coming back to school, it takes one sick kid to get the entire school sick. So it's not, out of the question that if they would have babysat her sick son, that the whole household would have come down with the cold or flu or whatever.
601-995-1017 is our phone number if you have advice whether or not Fran should have returned this favor, even though it's not a totally even favor because Fran's kids weren't sick whenever the neighbor watched them. Doing a DM dilemma on Y101 all about a sick kid. So the situation, Fran did a favor or had a favor done for her as her neighbor watched their kids over Christmas break for a little bit. Now the neighbor wants a return of that favor. But the issue was Fran's neighbor's kid was sick, and Fran didn't want to watch the sick kid. And I don't blame Fran at all.
Lauren, who we love, she got us those back scratchers for Christmas. She texted in and she says, I'm not watching sick kids. I've had a friend ask me to watch their kid, and they showed up with green snot hanging out of the kid's nose. Nope. Bye-bye. Right out the door. Sorry, not sorry. The audacity of parents to stay home and watch their own sick kids. I deal with colds enough on my own.
601-995-1017 saying good morning to Mrs. John Michael's mom.
Yay!
Morning. John Michael's not sick today, right?
He is doing wonderful. He just got out the car.
He's not sick?
No, he's not sick.
Now, if one of John Michael's friends' moms asked you to watch John Michael's sick friend who couldn't go to school, what would you say?
John Michael's friends' moms wouldn't ask me to watch their sick child.
Ooh, so you feel like this neighbor isn't a real friend for putting...
No, she's not a friend. She's so inappropriate. Like, why open up the neighbor's household to whatever your kid has?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but somebody's not going to be able to go to the event. Or how about the child who can't miss the event? How about he goes with a friend?
But I know my mom, like, whenever I was growing up, she would get calls from her friend like, hey, my kid's sick. Can you come over and watch him? And it would always flip me out, even as a kid, because I'm like, I don't want to get sick.
I don't want that. Yeah. No,
Crazy.
It's utterly inappropriate. This is not quid pro quo. No, it's just
Mary, you have a great Thursday. Thanks for joining us for the
too.
damn dilemma.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Jesse, what's your advice?
Well, it depends on the sickness. You know, back in the day when I was a kid, your parents wanted you to catch the chicken pox. So, you know, like your cousin have it, they were like, hey, go kiss your cousin and go give your cousin a hug so you can go ahead and catch some chicken pox.
That didn't happen in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. Okay, so you're thinking depending on the kind of sickness, maybe build the immunity of the whole family.
Yeah, depending on what it is. Because, you know, my age, you know, kids got chicken pox, and it'd be better to catch it during the summer when you didn't have to miss school. So my parents were like, hey, go hug your cousin.
That's wild.
Wow. Wow. Jesse, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mildred, the grandma on the show.
Yes.
Mildred, real quick, what's your advice before we play SZA?
Baby, I was calling in about the bad neighbors, Sugar.
Yes,
if you
Sugar.
won't watch my kid when he's sick, I'm not watching your kid when he's healthy, baby. Coronavirus says 6 feet in a mask, Lord. The flu ain't no worse than that.
So you think that Fran should just slap on a mask and call it good to go?
As the Lord is my witness, Sugar.
There we go. Problem solved.
Thank you, Mildred. Jerry, Mildred. Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
All right. Bye-bye.